this, but thank you for bearing with me as I sort of figure out my setup and audio settings, things like that. But today we're gonna do a more casual video, just rambling about yours truly, specifically my astrological profile slash birth chart. I mentioned this super briefly in my first video, but I am very much an amateur when it comes to astrology, so this is not going to be like an insane deep dive into what all the houses mean and all of that. It's more of a fun little overview that I hope will relax and maybe entertain you, and help you get to know me more as a new creator. That being said, if anyone actually knows how to read a birth chart, feel free to email me or DM me on Instagram, because I have no clue how to do that. Like, I am not your peer, I am your student. Please teach me your ways. So yeah, feel free. Okay, here is my birth chart. It's just on my iPad. Again, I have no clue how to read this, so we're gonna break down my signs and go from there. I'm using this website called Astro Cafe to break down my chart, so if that's not the most like accurate source for all you astrology experts out there, that's my bad. I don't know any better. It was the first result that came up when I looked up birth chart, but yeah, this looks very complicated. I have no idea what's going on. But yeah. All right, let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about my Big Six. I think most people have heard of the Big Three, which is your sun, moon, and rising sign. Your sun sign is the most like basic sign. It's the sign that everyone knows. It's your core energy. Your moon sign, and this is again just based off my very amateur understanding, is your emotional and internal landscape, and your rising sign is your external presence and how other people perceive you. The other important signs that are included in the Big Six are your Venus sign, your Mercury, and your Mars. So your Venus is your like love and attraction sign. Your Mercury is your communication style, and your Mars is like your conflict style. Again, those are like not in-depth descriptions of what those mean, but that's what I understand about what the Big Six is. So if you happen to know your Big Three or even your Big Six, please feel free to drop it in the comments. I am so curious what everyone's signs are, and I would love for everyone to judge each other, because my Big Three, as you will see in a second, is diabolical. It's diabolical. Okay, what I am about to say may shock you, it may disturb and frighten you, and for that I sincerely apologize. I am a Gemini sun, Scorpio moon, and Leo rising. Yeah, so I know all of those signs are super controversial, like what's the plural of Gemini? Anyways, Geminis are two-faced, supposedly, and Scorpios are psychopaths, and Leos are narcissists. And I'm here to say, hell yeah, the rumors are true. If anyone else happens to have this insane Big Three, you are legally obligated to let me know. You have to let me know. Okay, let's break those down. Okay, so we're gonna start with my sun sign, which is Gemini. description off of that website that I mentioned, and we'll get into it. With the sun in Gemini, the urge for self-expression is strong. These natives are often just as interested in collecting information as they are in sharing it. Curious to a fault, Geminis have a finger in every pie. Solar Geminis are flexible and changeable people. Their ability to adapt quickly to new situations generally gains them plenty of friends and social contacts. Usually quite clever and witty, Geminis enjoy intellectual conversations, and they are easily bored if not sufficiently mentally stimulated. Often quite adept at fitting in with others, Geminis easily adopt the moods of those around them. They are friends with people from all walks of life, and they are not easily intimidated. Their ability to detach themselves can make Geminis very objective and observant, but a little difficult to get close to. Although they often have many friends, intimacy doesn't come as easily to solar Geminis. It's not always easy to know what Gemini truly feels at any given moment. They are often very impressionable and scattered. There is usually a nervous air to Geminis that can make more personal characters a little uneasy. It is not always intuitive to trust Geminis to be loyal or to keep secrets. Geminis often flit about, moving quickly and keeping busy every step of the way. Many people with this position of the sun have gained quite a bit of knowledge in their lifetimes, but they don't always seek specialized or in-depth knowledge. This is because Geminis have relatively short attention spans and are happy to know a little about everything. Restlessness is especially common with this position of the sun. Usually quite affable, Geminis enjoy the light side of life. This tendency to take things lightly makes them quite pleasing to be around. It's true that it can be maddening to people seeking support on the deeper issues in life. However, Geminis are both interesting and interested. They're always ready to help. Their wit can be dazzling and their changeability sometimes dizzying. Geminis will seldom bore you. I would say that's definitely accurate. I'm more on the introverted side, but when I click with the right people, I cannot shut up. I'm always talking about something. If I can have a really great conversation with someone, I am sold on that person. I am sold. That's really all it takes. I also agree that I can be kind of restless and scattered. I don't like sitting still, and I hate feeling bored or stagnant. So this post-grad limbo that I'm in right now is definitely exacerbating that feeling, so that's sort of why I'm trying to tap more into my creative side now so I don't feel bored. So yeah, happy Gemini season to all my fellow Geminis. I think we're a great sign, and I think we can be deeply misunderstood, and I also know there are some famous Geminis who are literally insane, and that does not help with our ongoing PR crisis. But if you have a Gemini in your life, give them a shot. They may end up surprising you. Next, let's talk about my moon in Scorpio. I will say that Scorpios, from my personal experience, are really fun in the right circumstances and really scary in the wrong circumstances. But I also think that Scorpios are really often stereotyped as these jealous, secretive, harsh people. And while I can see a little bit of truth to that, I think that there's maybe more nuance there. I am also not sure if astrology is actually real, and so I don't want to box people into a label that can sometimes be a little bit reductive. But let's read about it and decide for ourselves. While others may find security and comfort in material things, Moon in Scorpio people seek out emotional intensity. No matter what, there is something very intense about lunar Scorpios. They are diggers in the world of emotion. They can see beyond facades and cut right to a person's core. This ability to see what what isn't apparent to the rest of the world can be intimidating to others or wildly attractive depending on the audience. Their deep-seated need for transformation and rebirth can manifest itself in the lives of lunar Scorpios in different ways. Most have powerful, emotionally intense lives. Some feel like it is beyond their control. These natives seem to attract emotional upheaval, and their lives appear to consist of plenty of dramatic ups and downs. However, when accepted as an emotional need, rebirth and change don't need to be so dramatic and overwhelming. In some way or the other, Moon and Scorpio natives seek out intense experiences. If their lives are regular, there can be an unconscious need to test their strength and stir up emotional excitement. Self-awareness and acceptance is probably the best way to handle this deep need for emotional drama. Doing things halfway or having meaningless relationships simply doesn't fulfill them. Lunar Scorpios want all or nothing. Moon and Scorpio people often have a strong fear of betrayal. They seek commitment and feel the need for a partner to give up something for them. Some will put the people they love through a series of tests, and these are not always conscious. Their apparent suspicion can be trying for the people who love them. However, once committed, Moon and Scorpio people can be the most loyal and protective partners around. Even the shy ones have enormous presence. Their lives are emotion-driven, yet many Moon and Scorpio natives spend a lot of time controlling and mastering their emotions. Their intuition is considerable, although it is sometimes self-serving. Moon and Scorpio people radiate strength. Even in the absence of experience, they seem to just know things. It would be difficult to shock or scare away lunar Scorpios in the face of emotional honesty and power. Some people instinctively want to lean on them, and other less brave folks run a little scared. Lunar Scorpios have exceptional radar that allows them to size up a situation and a person quickly and expertly. This ability to understand human motivation and nature can be too close to comfort for some and enormously comforting for others. Many lunar Scorpios are intelligent and astute. Those who use their enormous powers for intimacy and honesty are the happiest and make the most interesting and rewarding friends and lovers. Oh my gosh, the whole line about wanting all or nothing is so true for me. I've always been that way. I either want things the way that I want them, or I don't want them. I'm very stubborn in that sense. I also do have very emotional crash outs sometimes. Normally I get my shit together in like a few hours, but yeah, things can become very intense very quickly, for sure. Also, the thing about Scorpio moons, like just knowing things, is interesting because I've definitely felt that way before, but honestly, I think I just have a really good memory. So it seems like I know all of this stuff, but really, I'm just good at remembering things. Like, I remember the birthdays of people that I went to elementary school with and I haven't spoken to in years. So, like, random, useless knowledge. But yeah, shout out to all my Scorpios out there. I think you guys are also very misunderstood, and I count myself among you. Next, let's talk about Leos. So, I'm a Leo rising, and every time I read something about Leo risings, it's always like, they have great hair. And I don't think, I mean, I've never really thought about my hair in my life, to be honest. I don't think it's particularly striking. But anyways, two of my closest friends are Leo suns. So, I think Geminis and Leos are pretty compatible, at least in my experience. My cat is also a Leo, so shout out to her. Okay, let's read this description. Leo rising people cannot help but be noticed. They radiate a special energy and magnetism that gets others' attention. Sometimes it's because they are loud people who pay a lot of attention to their personal appearance, especially their hair. See, there it is. Other times it's due to a regal manner that simply demands interest from others. Leo ascendant people are very self-aware and body conscious. They are acutely aware of others and how they come fact, these people are especially aware of their personal backdrop. They consider what the people they're with and the environments they are in do to their own image. Often, Leo rising natives feel as if they are on stage, even in the privacy of their own homes. They are given to rash decisions, temper tantrums, and excesses. However, they have plenty of staying power, drive, and their idealism keeps them from getting into too much trouble. The desire to oversee the goings-on in their circle can sometimes amount to bossiness. If this desire doesn't go too far, however, it can just mean a person who wants to make sure the people they love are alright. Many Leo rising people are managers, either by profession or character. The tendency to overestimate things and themselves is generally present. This is due to a natural enthusiasm and optimism about any new undertaking. Sometimes they are walking commercials. In fact, Leo rising people make excellent promoters. Leo rising people are generally demonstrative and given to grand gestures. Drama comes naturally to these natives. I'm seeing a theme about drama here, which I don't like. Anyways, in fact, some are so caught up in fiction, they're a little blind to fact. They have an unusual need to be admired. Leo ascendants often have a strong physical constitution. They pay special attention to their personal appearance and mannerisms. Usually, they choose clothing and hairstyles that are youthful. Their manner is authoritarian and strong, very full emotional life. No matter their age, in real-world terms, Leo rising people are kids at heart. They are fun-loving and warm, generous and spirited. Just how magnanimous and outgoing a Leo rising individual is will be modified by the placement of the sun by sign and house. Which again, I don't understand what that means. This is because the ruling planet of a Leo ascendant is the sun. For example, a Leo rising person with sun in Virgo may not come across as strongly as a Leo rising person with sun in Aries. Oh, okay. No matter the placement of the sun, however, Leo rising natives are quite self-aware and optimistic. They have a natural flair for presentation, an eye for quality, and a hard-to-resist warmth of style. They want to make things happen and create a stir. See, I think this one might be the least accurate so far, because this is kind of suggesting that I, command a room, and I don't think I really have that energy. I'm not a huge fan of attention, at least not in, a super public setting. It makes me nervous, but I do think that being self-aware and optimistic, I think that sounds like me. And I will say that I do like being admired, but I don't think that's exclusive to Leo risings. I think that's just, human nature. So, what do you guys think? Am I giving Leo rising? I don't know. Okay, I'm a Gemini Venus, and I'm a little less rehearsed in what the other signs in the Big Six mean, so I'm just gonna read this description and see if it's accurate. Venus and Gemini people will try to win over the object of their affection with witty conversation, displaying just how much they know, while also demonstrating their diverse interests. This is a playful lover. Some might even call them a tease. They are hard to pin down, and they resist relationships that promise to become too comfortable. Even those with their sun in Taurus or Cancer, whose outward demeanor may suggest some reserve and caution, will want their relationships to be stimulating and full of conversation with Venus and Gemini. Venus and Gemini people don't want to be tied or bogged down in their relationships. They appreciate lightheartedness in love, and they give much in return. Although they are willing to talk, perhaps endlessly, about the relationship, you may get the feeling that they gloss over some of the deeper issues. Yes, you may need to dig a little to open them up, but it's worth the effort. In love, their tastes change often, and it can be hard to know what to expect from one day to the next, or sometimes from 1 hour to the next. Still, they're fun, humorous, intelligent, and flexible. Pleasing Venus and Gemini involves supporting their need for fun and variety, showing interest in their brain power and knowledge, and giving them space for friends and activities outside of the relationship. Let them know just how much you enjoy their company. Try not to get overly miffed by Venus and Gemini's changeable, sometimes fickle ways. Remember that time spent with them will be exciting and invigorating. I don't think it's true that I avoid comfortable relationships, but I definitely don't want to feel bored. I will say, if I am talking to someone and they can't really contribute to the conversation, I'm kind of done at that point. I don't know. But yeah, needing some independence and a room for my own stuff is really important too. So, honestly, I would say that this description might be the most spot on so far. Next is my Mercury, which is in Taurus. There is a super short description for this one, so I'll just read it. She is faithful to her ideas, unchangeable and quietly opinionated, persistent but discreet, likes all the pleasures life can offer, careful in speech, deliberate, intelligent, learns best through the senses, not through the traditional educational system. She possesses plenty of common sense, and her simplicity makes it easy to get from point A to point B in as few steps as possible. That one's accurate too. Like, quietly opinionated is a really great way to describe me. I feel like I have very strong opinions about lots of things, but I don't necessarily share them with everybody because I enjoy harmony, I guess. And I mean, I definitely do enjoy all the pleasures that life has to offer. I think that aligns well with the line about me learning best through the senses, because that's kind of what ASMR is to me. To me, it's almost like productive sensory pleasure. It's nice to watch the videos on their own, but it's also great when I feel like I'm actually engaging with the creator or the content. And I guess that's one of the goals for, my channel as well, so I would say this Mercury makes sense for me. Finally, my Mars is in Cancer, and this description is also not that long, so I'll just dive into it. I believe that your Mars is, again, like your conflict style, something like that, so let's see what it is. This position inclines toward passive aggressiveness. These people seem to resist change and just shy away from direct confrontations. They need to feel secure before they act. As a result, they can appear rather slow at times. Their motto is, the best offense is defense. They may appear weak to some, but they can be very strong. Their strength lies in their tenaciousness. Their sex drive can be very tied up with emotional need. At their best, they turn others on with a protective, almost therapeutic way about them. The protective nature of Cancer is best expressed when Mars and Cancer natives are turning the energy outward, when they are being the protectors of others. Turning it inwards is when there are problems. They must avoid oversensitivity and self-protection when it comes to sex. Some Mars and Cancer people are especially turned on by the thought of creating a baby. Okay, wow. Okay. These people are threatened by indifference. They can be argumentative and manipulative. Their energy levels are variable, and they can appear to move rather slowly. They have defensive reactions and bursts of emotional displays when they feel cornered. With reassurance and confidence, these natives are protective, helpful, and dependable in the long haul. They prefer to handle situations peacefully and humanely. So this one is perhaps the least flattering of all the descriptions I've read. Absolutely diabolical work. I can't really comment on this one. So if anyone else is a Cancer Mars and would like to discuss everything that's going on here, my DMs are open. Wow. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this kind of more casual, rambly video, and that you got to know me a little bit better through said, the volume level, so thank you for continuing to bear with me. I will see you all in the next one.